Hello, Cinnamon Bun. It's been a while, hasn't it? So, her hair is wet. Her food is ordered. She hasn't written a word in several days, but she's here. So, we're going to do some writing. Yes, so my little list here tells me that I wanted to do a sprint and then give you a bit of an update of what's been going on NaNoWriMo-wise for me. But because it's been several days since I started writing, since I have written even, the resistance is real. I don't want to do it. And so that's why we're going to do it first. So should we do a 5-minute or should I roll a d10? In the meantime, I'm definitely going to open my Scrivener document. I haven't even looked at how many days I've missed or how behind I am. I'm probably not going to win, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep writing anyway, because that's the point of this. And I'll explain why I had to take a few days off. A little bit later. Okay. Everyone wants me to just roll a d10. Okay, let's do that then. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. Yes. I'm glad I'm not the only one that is feeling the resistance to actually doing some writing. Okay, I am going to roll a d10. This is just clacking. Yeah, like I said, I have ordered food for myself. So if the door goes, I'm going to have to jump and go and get that. Because your girl has no food in the house. I'm doing my groceries tomorrow, so this is where we're at today. What's the d10 again? I think it's this guy. Because the 0 is the 10, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's get our mat out. Oh no! 10! The dice know that I need to write. Okay, yeah, let's just dive straight into a little 10-minute sprint, just to get to feel like we've gotten a little bit of writing out of the way before I get into like, hey, let's catch up a little bit, let's have some chat, because it's very easy for me to just chat to you guys and not actually do anything. So, do I have my timer in here? Did I forget it? I may have. Okay, which one do we want? The black one, I think, if we're going to be rolling for times. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so 10 minutes is, to be honest, I think a lot of this for me will just be like figuring out like, what the hell was I doing? Where am I? What am I going to do next? And reminding myself of where I was, since I've missed a few days now. Probably more than a few days. I'm afraid it's like as much as a week. I don't know. We will get to that. Yes. Okay. So let me get my journal out. Yes. Prepare yourself. Decide what you're going to do. If what scene you're going to write or what you're going to brainstorm or whatever the case may be. I didn't think of a ambience of the stream yet. Shall I? Do I have one open? No. I think we'll do that after a bit of a chat and stuff. So if you want to get some music or background noise or something on in the background, then get that ready now. I'm going to be listening to my normal mix for this project, and I'm going to remember to light my freaking candle. I am. Oh, I'm so hungry. Nice. Let's start a new session log. Oh, just saw the date on the last one that I did. It's cool. It's fine. I start a new entry in my writing journal every time I sit down to write, and clearly I half started one and never finished it because usually I write the date. So the last one was Saturday, the 14th of November, and underneath I've just written Tuesday, and there's nothing else. I clearly didn't get that far. It's not Tuesday anymore. It's Saturday, right? What are days? Nothing means anything. Pretty sure it's Saturday. This is going to drive me nuts. But I can't clip it out of the way because it's wet. And it will dry weird. So I'll just have to stare through this curtain of my own hair. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, the date. Mm-hmm. Cool, it's fine. We're doing it anyway. It's not about winning. It's cool though. Right, 10 minutes is starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, folks, that's our 10. I did not remember to light my candle, but I shall. Oh. Okay. Hello, hello. Cool. Good job, everyone. I am just kind of reorienting, reorient, orient, orienting myself with my project because it's been a while. So at least I know what scene is coming next. I do need to brainstorm it though. I've got a headache and I'm feeling kind of tired and stuff, and I think that is just because I really need food. So I'm hoping that I'm going to pet back up a little bit when that arrives. But I was going to have a little snack and I forgot. Hold on. This is going to be so noisy. Some of these little fruit nut things. Just to tide me over until my food arrives. Okay, so it's not the best open I've ever done, but fine. Okay. Hi. Hello. It's been a while, hasn't it? So, how long actually has it been since I updated my word count? Let's find out. I'm afraid to look, you guys, but we're going to do this together. I'm scared. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, fuck. Yep, the last day I updated my word count was the 14th. We're now on the 21st. So that's a full week of 0 words. That's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. My adjusted word count per day to make it to 50k is 3,400. No chance. No chance. But as I've said already, in the past, knowing that I might not make it to 50k, that I probably won't make it to 50k, would be enough for me to quit Nano and just give up. That is not what I'm doing this time around, because ultimately it's just a means to an end. And what I really want out of this is a draft of this novel that I'm working on. So I've decided categorically I'm not going to quit. Even if I never catch up, I'm still going to aim for 1,600 words a day, each new day, no matter how far behind I get. So yeah, but yeah, so why have I not done anything for a week? Welcome to Rachel's Period Corner, where I talk about period stuff, because it just seems unavoidable. But basically, I haven't written in a week for menstrual reasons. It's not ideal. So my cycle is a bumpy ride at the best of times, and this year, with all the stress of COVID and everything else in life, has just been worse, essentially. So I'm sure most people know that stress can have a really big impact on your menstrual cycle, and it can actually make basically all symptoms of PMS, cramps, irritability, headaches, aches and pains, low mood, low energy, fatigue, all of that. It can make all of it worse. But it's kind of a delayed process because of the way this is. Am I getting into too much detail here? I don't know. For hormonal and scientific reasons, basically, like if you have a period of stress in your life that affects your cycle, you won't see it until like 3 months later. You're kind of on this 3 month where like your menstrual cycle now is reflecting what you were going through like 3 months ago, essentially. It's like this delayed thing, and I've had an absolute time of it, and so I'm now like reaping the rewards of that in my cycles now, and it's not great. So yeah, I just like it just wasn't possible. So yeah, I knew that was like due in the middle of the month, and that I was probably going to have to take a few days off regardless. But I was like, I started off with a lot of energy, and my energy will be rising on the way to the end of the month. So hopefully I can catch up that way. 7 full days of not writing anything. Well, I guess it's 6 if we're counting today. Don't know how feasible that is. It's probably not, but yeah, it was a tough one. My energy just went to 0 for several days beforehand, and it was really drawn out. Yeah, it was like a 33-day cycle, and usually mine's around like 30 days or something. So I had like 3 days of just like feeling like shit and not being able to focus and just being really tired and like just waiting for it to arrive. But I took care of myself as best I could, and I just let myself have the time off. There's no point in like trying to push through it and fucking yourself up when your body can't handle it. So I'm doing everything that I need to do to try and take care of myself. But unfortunately, that has meant that NaNoWriMo has taken a back seat. So yes. Thank you for all of your kind chat. Brian Danko says, I never realized periods was such an important part of literature. Hey, if they affect your life and like they don't affect everyone's lives in a really big way, obviously. You know, a lot of people don't have them, but if you do have them, it might be just this kind of gentle ebb and flow, or you might be like me, where it's like cliffs. You know, you're up and then you're down, and it's like it massively impacts a lot of different areas of your life. And so that's why I talk about it a lot. You'll notice if you check in with me on these kinds of things. I will kind of just update you on where I'm at. And that's because like it has a massive impact on my mental health, on my energy, on my body, and that therefore impacts my writing and stuff as well. So yeah, it's part of being alive as me. Okay, I'm gonna stop munching these now, because I imagine my food will be here soon. Amarine says, I'm really happy you're so open about this. There's still so much stigma around periods. Thank you. I'm glad. I do still get a little bit self-conscious about talking about it, but I've had absolutely terrible periods, like basically my whole life. And one of the things I absolutely hated as a teenager was just having to grit my teeth through like unbearable pain and pretend like there was nothing wrong, because it wasn't something you're meant to talk about. It wasn't something that I felt like I was allowed to talk about. I just suffered in silence through like just the worst pain imaginable for me. So yeah, and like I say, like a lot of, I know, yeah, there's a lot of people that it is just a gentle kind of ebb and flow, and you maybe don't get that many symptoms, and so it doesn't really affect your life in that huge a way. But for me, like those hormonal transitions are really abrupt. I'm like either super high or I'm super low. And yeah, I just don't want to have to like pretend to be the same all the time, because I'm not. Like, I am a very cyclical person, and like where I'm at actually affects a huge amount of things. So like because like the last couple of streams I did, that was like on the run up to my period. So I had like, I was starting to get PMS, my energy was really low. And I was like, I still want to do stuff, but it's just going to be like a chill vibe. It's going to be like a bit more of a low energy thing. Whereas like if I'm doing a stream, like in kind of the middle of my cycle, like I'll be super pumped and super hype, and really high energy and like really chatty and kind of outgoing and extroverted and stuff. But I'm not like that all the time. So yeah. Thank you for sharing all of this chat about your own stuff, folks. Yeah, pain stuff is, this was my worst one in a while. Where I got back to the like, I should really see a doctor about this kind of thing, which is a whole other conversation. Yeah, I've been learning a lot. I think another reason that I tend to like talk about it a lot is that I've been learning a lot about it. I've been doing a course called Moon School, which is kind of like medical information about like menstrual cycles and fertility awareness and stuff, and then also a kind of psycho-spiritual element. And so I've been learning a lot more about the different phases and what goes on like physically, but also like how that affects us mentally and stuff. I find it fascinating, probably because it affects my life in such a huge way. But yeah, so I had to take some time off. It was definitely the right thing to do. I'm glad I did, but it's still inevitably just a bit frustrating that I've fallen so behind with Nano. Yeah. And I'm drinking raspberry leaf tea right now, which is like a herbal medicine, which is meant to help with that. So I'm going to be taking it for like a month. And again, because of that delayed effect, hopefully should start to see the benefits of that in like 2 months for future ones. But yeah, so I'm doing some kind of like of the self-care things, and I'm taking some herbal medicines to try and start to even things out with my cycle. But I'm also going to I need to see a doctor. Yeah. Yes, and that's another thing. Yeah, so that's why. So I've ordered food for myself. I've ordered sushi, which is my favorite, just my favorite. But it's quite expensive, so I try not to order it too often. And I hummed and hawed a little bit about it, and then I was like, no, you know what? You worked out today, and you washed your hair, and it's been a hard. That's my food, isn't it? Hello. Yes. Yes. Sorry, I put that in the notes. Oh right. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. Thanks. You leave a note that's broken, and they don't get it, and they're just going to leave your food outside. So back in a few minutes, guys, while I go grab this. If you want to take a break, go for that. If you want to write, then enjoy yourself. But back in a moment. Mood. Yes, actually, that course I'm talking about is called Moon School. It's by Clara Bailey. Cool. Okay. Looks like I'm just going to be chatting a little bit longer while I eat. Although I guess I could eat and write. Can I? Not really. Oh, I hope that's not battered. Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought they'd forgotten my sushi burrito. Please don't be battered. Please don't be battered. No, it's just onions. Okay, that's fine. What should I have first? I've got teriyaki chicken. I always order like a lot so that I can eat it for the next few days. I've got teriyaki chicken. I've got a salmon sushi burrito and some tamaki. Well, the salmon won't keep, so let's have that. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Vanessa was saying I recently realized exercise and stretching helps a lot, and the effects are always lighter when I do yoga and stuff. That's basically what I want to work on, is that like I'm great with exercise on the like first half of my period when my energy is rising, but then after it peaks, like basically after ovulation, my energy kind of drops and I stop exercising because it's just harder to motivate myself. And that then means that like, and then once it gets to my period, I can't exercise because of cramps and stuff. And so that means that like there'll be a stretch of like 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks where I've done nothing at all and I've been super sedentary, and that makes everything worse. It's really bad for my mood. It's bad for cramps, like all of it. So that's something I want to work on this next cycle, is like maintaining an exercise routine for all of the benefits of that throughout the rest of the cycle. Or just to like closer, like stopping when I actually have to stop. Yeah. Loving all these food emojis. Johnny's asking what kind of sushi I get. I think I've just told you everything I've got, but so I just love raw salmon. So this is a sushi burrito, which is just a giant sushi roll. I love this because like it's like a good amount of food, but it still feels kind of light and healthy-ish. But my absolute favorite sushi food, and also my favorite food ever of all time, is a salmon and avocado tamaki cone. So I got one of those as well because I can't resist. But yeah, that's my favorite food. This is going to be a mess, just so you know. Napkins? Raging Debbie Rage says, well, I wonder if that's why I always fall off the weightlifting wagon at the end half of the month. Yes. Did you know, again, more stuff that I've learned recently, that like hormonally, you actually recover better from exercise in like the fertile period and stuff. And like when you start to like get towards menstruation, like your body is actually just less good at recovering from exercise and like building and repairing muscle and stuff. So like that's actually the optimum way to exercise, is to like rise in intensity as you're like heading up for a peak, and then start to like lower intensity as you get towards menstruation, then rest on your period and then start to like rise the intensity again. This is just a giant chunk of salad all in the one place. This is just okay. Just have an entire mouthful of leaves. Fine. Everybody's asking, where did you get your sushi from? It's a place called Tamaki, which is in the city centre of Glasgow. They're one of the only places that you can get a sushi burrito that I can think of, I think, in Glasgow. I love salmon so much. So I think what I'm going to do is eat one half of this, and then we can do some more writing, and then I'll eat the other half. Ghoulish Blacksmith is asking, off topic, but is that Edie on your wall? Yes, it is. Edie is my favourite character from Mass Effect, which is also one of my favourite stories of all time. So I was printing out some like inspiration images and stuff, and I was like, we should have some Edie in here. Yeah, so Rage says, really, I read it was better to do strength stuff closer to the end of your period because your testosterone is so high because everything else is so low. Yeah, so I guess I should clarify that was like a bit of, that was a bit vague. Testosterone obviously helps. Estrogen is great for high intensity and strength. Basically, as you get towards your period, you want to like ease off the cardio. You can still do strength and like yoga and things like that, and it's a good time to focus on flexibility. But like in terms of like doing a lot of cardio and strength and like high intensity stuff, and like the middle of your cycle is really the best. Like your fertile period is the best for that. I don't know. I think it's fascinating, and like I'm not like a sports scientist or anything, so please take everything I'm saying with a pinch of salt. But I think like growing up and stuff, you do just like when you hear about like hormones and stuff, there's always this idea of like testosterone being like the male hormone, and that it's the thing for doing all the physical active stuff. It makes you strong, and like learning more about the way it works. Like estrogen is a super active, strong kind of hormone as well. Like it's one of the things that means that you recover so much quicker at that period and stuff, and that you can like do a lot of high intensity stuff, which I just think is cool. Gender is more complicated than everything we grew up with, obviously. Yes. Rachael saying, is there an app for that? Because that would be so helpful. Is there an app for what? Let me know specifically. So Sin's suggesting Clue. Clue is a like cycle tracking app, but you have to be really careful with it because it's good for tracking like your symptoms and where you are in your cycle. I use it to just like keep a track of like how many days my cycle has been and stuff, because it's good for that maths, but it automatically calculates your fertile period and your like peak day and ovulation and stuff. But that is like auto-generated based on like averages. And so that's not actually going to be accurate. Like everyone's cycle is a little bit different. So like you can't rely on that to know like when you're fertile or not and stuff, especially for birth control. But for just tracking like the basics, Clue and apps like that can be helpful. yeah. I am going to finish eating this. Rachel says an app for combining cycle and exercise specifically. Not that I know of. All of this information I've just learned from this course, Moon School. Like there's some books and stuff, but I've not read any of them, so I can't recommend yet. There's one on menstruality, which I want to read just because the title sounds so fucking cool, called Her Blood is Gold, which is meant to be really good, but I don't know how much that goes into exercise. But I think, yeah, when it comes to exercise, like you kind of just need to know where you are in your cycle, roughly, and kind of tailor it to that. But yeah, just in general, like taking a rest or doing super low impact, like gentle yoga stuff over your period. When you start to feel like you've got some energy again, you can basically go for much higher intensity stuff, like all throughout your fertile phase. Once you feel, again, like this is why, like I'm still learning about tracking and stuff. But then like in maybe like the week or a week and a half that you're coming up for your period, you want to maybe just like pare back on the cardio and focus more on strength. But yeah. Yeah, that title, the book is called Her Blood is Gold. I can't remember who it's by. I'm sorry. I've got it on my list. Like I want to pick it up, but I've not got it yet. Okay. Not just going to talk about periods. So, yeah, that's where I've been. But I do really want to get back to the story. Someone is suggesting a YouTube channel for that. I haven't heard of it, but thank you for the suggestion. For those that want to check it out. Okay. So, I know it's just because I'm rusty, because I haven't checked in with this in a while. And once I get back into it, it'll be fine. But I really don't want to write you guys. It's hard, and I'm scared. It'll be fine. It will be fine. I just need to like grit my teeth and get through that first little uncomfortable bit, you know. Anyway, how have you guys been getting on? If you're in my Discord, I've seen that a bunch of you are doing really well. Certainly some of you doing a lot better than me. Yeah, how's your week been? Yeah, some good and some bad. That's the way of it, isn't it? I'm sorry, Doro and Mary, that it's been rough. Yeah. And Clarissa saying, technically I'm above the line, but I'm so low in energy and I really don't want to write. Yeah. Yeah, obviously it's a weird time. I mean, that's like not a cliche, a truism. No, it's just redundant to say at this point. But all we can do is keep trucking. What a mess. Oh my god, you guys, I can't believe I've not told you. So as I was coming up for my period, I was like super tired, and so I couldn't really do much, but it was also making me bored. And I was just like, yeah, it's just been a bumpy ride the last week. It's been like, there's been some nice bits, but there's been a lot of lows as well. And I was looking for something to do basically that was kind of chill. And so I went for like a big long walk, which was definitely needed because I'd just been like sitting for days and days. And I ended up walking all the way to like Clydebank shopping centre. And I was like, what if I just bought myself a Switch? What about that? Because I've been wanting one ever since like first lockdown, basically, back in like March, April time, and there was none. And now they're back in stock again and stuff. And I was like, let me just get Animal Crossing. So yeah, I did. I bought myself a Switch, and it's been great. Animal Crossing, like I feel like it's still just starting really slow, and I know that's kind of the point. And so there's been points where I've been like, this is lovely and slow, and there's been points where I'm like, can we just get on with things, please? Can I just have some materials to like build more stuff? Because my island is so boring, and it's just taking forever. But yes, I have Animal Crossing now, and so I've been meaning to post in the Discord and stuff, and be like, hey, if you've got an island, let's like visit each other and stuff, because that might be fun. Amarine saying, what's the Discord? If you're a patron of mine, so if you're signed up for my normal monthly live streams, speaking of which, we're meant to have one on the 25th, then you also get access to my Discord server, which is like a little online chat room that's just for us. Why was I even mentioning that? Oh yeah, so we just have chats and stuff in there. We talk about writing, but just a bunch of other stuff as well. This is honestly the least graceful thing to eat in a live stream. Yeah, so I have my house, and I've got the museum, but I'm still waiting on getting the shop. because I needed to collect all that like wood and iron and stuff, and like iron's just taking forever. I don't know if this is a thing where like it was like that for everyone, or if this is just like I don't have a lot of rocks on my island or what, but it's driving me nuts. It's been several days now of just collecting all the iron that I can get and then be like, cool, guess I better wait till tomorrow. And I've done a couple of like, I've used a couple of Nuke Miles tickets to go and collect iron from other islands, and I need 30 and I'm at 29 today, and it's so frustrating. So I guess I'll get that tomorrow, but then I'm sure it's going to be like another day until the shop's actually built, so we'll see. Okay, cool. I'm not the only one who's struggling with iron then. But yeah, so my island's very bare at the moment. There's basically nothing on it except a couple of houses. And I've got some stuff inside my house, but that's about it, really. So it's probably not terribly exciting to visit, but I did have some fun doing some slightly manic midnight messages on my own bulletin board. So. Cassie says, just came here and there's talk of Animal Crossing. Yes. Also, if you need iron, I can give you some. Thank you so much. That's very kind. I'll get it tomorrow anyway. I only need one more. I've got 29 of 30. It'll be fine. But yeah. Like the real-time thing is like a blessing and a curse. I love it in a sense, because like that's one of the things I always wanted from Stardew Valley, is that like I love the seasonal aspect because it's a good way to like get into the vibe of like the actual seasons. But I always wanted to like, you know, play Stardew Valley in the fall, in autumn, and then play winter in winter and stuff. So it's cool, but like, yeah, like waiting actual days for things, it can be a bit frustrating as well when you're as impatient as I am. I also love that, like, am I correct in saying that the moon phases are accurate? Because that is my shit. Such a good way to be like, what are we doing with the moon today? Okay, I've finished half of this. Just going to wrap up the other half somehow. Just going to rip that. Okay. Okay. I think I actually want this meat out of mine. Okay. This is going to get everywhere. Yep. I could use a spoon. what I get for not doing the dishes, I guess. Yes, so that's super fun. Like just nice, chill way to check in with things. But I'm also impatient. I had something else to say. Yeah, because I think with like, so I'd never played any Animal Crossing games, only Stardew Valley. And like, I know that like you can plant like flowers and trees, but farming isn't really the same. It's not really the thing with Animal Crossing. And so I find like, I'm like, what am I meant to be doing? Just going around looking for stuff, which I guess is the thing, but that does get a little bit boring for me after a certain point. However, I would like to say that I like Timmy and Tommy Nook. Every single time, I don't remember which one's which. Is it Tommy that's the one that's outside and walks around? I think so. Every time he walks past me, he's just so small. A voice in my head is just like, I love you, you tiny raccoon. Without fail. Like I have like an emotional reaction every time I see him. It's actually hilarious. So yeah, okay. So on my island, my first two villagers are Fuchsia and Flip. Fuchsia's amazing. She's this like, bright pink deer who I love. Flip is just really into working out and is like a monkey. And I'm not so sure about him. We'll see. Yeah, Raccoon Boy. Cuber thing. It's definitely on brand. Ooh, this is so good. I wish I had a spoon though. I am trash. I'm stirring it with the lid. This is who I am right now. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do some more writing. I need to figure out what I'm doing. What am I gonna brainstorm or write or I guess I'm just gonna brainstorm this next scene. My protagonist has a spell commission to do, so we'll see. I love miso. So good. Yes, Animal Crossing. I won't be able to organize anything through this right now, but if you want to come visit my island or invite me to your island, I guess I'll definitely be talking about it in the Discord. So if you're already a member there, then we can organize through that. If not, then I guess catch me on Twitter. Not on it very often anymore. I'm trying not to be, but that's probably where I'll post publicly, if anywhere, if I'm going to share. I don't even know how it works. I'm assuming you need some kind of like code or whatever, like a seed code to like send to people. Yeah, because I've not done any visiting yet because I haven't. None of my friends have Switches that I can think of. Like nobody in my real life circle has one. I don't think. Nah. So that would be fun. My brain is fighting me, you guys, on this. It's just saying, I don't want to. I don't want to do this. Do something else. Maybe I should go to a different scene. I just have a note here that says, create Roomba spells. What does that mean, past Rachel? It sounds exciting, but I don't know what it means. So I think, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about, I'm always thinking a lot about creativity and writing. And I've been thinking a lot about what makes something feel creatively fulfilling. And I think for a long time I've just been focused on like fun. Like, how can you have fun while doing something, while creating something, or how can you make it like enjoyable? But I think that's actually not everything. I think the other side of that, and I think this is actually, I watched like a Wheezy Waiter video or something, who I don't really watch a lot of, but I caught one of them. It was about burnout. And it was talking about how like burnout happens when the reward doesn't feel worth the work, and also when work feels meaningless. And so in some ways, or in some instances, the antidote to burnout can be meaningful work. And so that got me thinking of like, it's not just about fun, it's also about meaning. And so that's what I'm trying to do with each new scene, is like, how can I make this fun or meaningful? And I had an experience recently working on something which really kind of illustrated that to me, where it wasn't, you could not describe it as fun because it was heavy. It was really heavy work. It was dealing with like, big kind of sad things. But it was incredibly meaningful. And so it was still super fulfilling to work on. And that it sounds so obvious when you say it like that, but I feel like I'm kind of learning. I'm always learning these things over and over again. And so I think what I've been doing with this project, Which City, that I'm working on for NaNoWriMo, is that I've been trying to focus on fun, and I've hit fun with some parts, at least a couple of scenes, specifically Raccoon Boy. But what was I saying? But I don't feel like I've been hitting the meaning part, really. There's meaning built into the plot that I've got and some of the world building, but I don't really feel like I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really feel like I'm actually taking that and doing anything with it. Yeah. Yes, we're going to sprint. Rear Admiral Trash Boy for Emperor. Yes, absolutely. His conflict is almost resolved. I've just got to write the scene where the resolution actually happens. Maybe I should skip ahead to that, because I feel like that's a bit clearer. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I want to do, is like, there's some like cool, meaningful, themey, ideological stuff built into the plot embryo and into some of these world building mechanics. some of the ways that the world is set up, but I don't feel like I've really explored any of that yet. It's been a lot of like, like individual scene conflicts that the protagonist is dealing with, but I haven't really gotten into like her flaws showing up in a real way, and like making things interesting for that kind of like emotional bite. And I think that's tricky as well because all of my other characters are very just texture level at the moment, and so it's hard to get into the emotional stuff. Yeah. So, yes, before we can sprint, I am going to need to figure out what I'm sprinting. Roomba spells. What even are these? Everything's so unfamiliar now. Let's look at it in outline mode. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do a brainstorm next. So I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think my hair is dry enough that I can flip it over now. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, it's still so wet. Yeah, Sensei's it's common to get anxiety going back into a story after some time away. For sure. It's so normal. I'm just having to like drag myself through it. Yeah, I have been, that's what I've been doing. I've been rereading the last few bits and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is take the next scene that I have brainstormed and do like a brainstorm for a layer of meaning, because it's like tangentially related to themey stuff, but I want to like go harder. I want to get more skin in the game. Yes. So I'm also going to get my candle burning. So if this is going to be a brainstorm, then I'm going to roll another d10. And if by some miracle I can actually get into a groove, then I'll probably just keep working for a bit after that. Where's my phone? In the pocket. In the pocket. I kind of want music. That smell is so potent now. It's wild. These matches are so long, I always feel the need to just like let it burn for a bit longer. I don't know why. I feel like I'm using it up more. That makes no sense, Rachel. I just like fire. Clearly. Okay, that's enough. I think I will also reward myself with a nice sweet thing or a new hot drink or something after this sprint. Anne-Marine's asking, what's your candle scent? It's a Yankee candle and it's ridiculous. It was a present. And I think I kept the sticker because I wanted to be able to get it again. Yeah, it's sweet maple chai. It's ridiculous. It's incredibly sweet. It's like cake or something. But I had it and it's nice. So yeah. Okay, yeah, we're gonna roll a d10. Again, if I can remember which one is the d10. I believe it's you. Yes. What's it gonna be? 5. Okay. Is there a way I could roll for what happens? Perhaps. Maybe not in this scene. Right, we're getting prepped, folks. So figure out what you're going to write or brainstorm if you do that as well. And if you don't already have some nice background noise or music, get that on in the background. Now I'm going to find the correct scene. Oh, I already have a scene card for that. Okay. Dum. Decided I do need music instead. That was way too loud. Okay. Okay. I'm actually going to start working for a little bit before I start our next sprint. Like I said, I want to brainstorm meaning for this next scene. And I want to remind myself of the kind of meaningful content that I already have, like the theme notes I've made and stuff like that. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes to do that. If you're just going to be drafting, then just get started now. And then I'll let you know when I'm starting our 5-minute timer. Yeah. Would you care to play? I would just like some music in my life. Thank you. see some new faces. Hello. We're just doing some chill writing before we get into a more formal 5-minute sprint. I'm just trying to remind myself what the hell I'm doing with this story. Am I under-caffeinated? Is that why I can't focus? What's going on? I might have like a tiny little coffee. It's 6 o'clock, it's a bad idea. I just want to be able to work. I had like a minuscule amount of like instant coffee at like 6 o'clock. Was it the night before my period arrived? And I could not sleep all night. I don't know if it was that. Like, it might not have just been caffeine. It might have been other things as well. But I literally was up to 7 in the morning. And then when I did finally fall asleep, I only got like 3.5 hours sleep. And it was hell. And so I really don't want to get myself into one of those situations again. But I think I maybe just weighted my caffeine intake too early in the day for this. Yeah, exactly. And then the next day was my freaking period arriving. So I was just bedridden with awful cramps the entire day. And I was like, this is just great. I love this for me. Iconic, frankly. No wonder it was so terrible. Yeah. Anyway, let me read my stuff and remind myself what the hell I'm doing. Okay. I know what I need to do. So in terms of meaning, I've got this central kind of metaphor, a metaphorical relationship at the core of this, which I really like, but I just don't have a clear, it's still all like hypothetical at this point. I don't have a clear idea of like how that actually manifests and plays out. Like, how do these characters act? How do they interact? So I'm going to brainstorm that in more like specific instances. Jenna's saying, wait, what does your shirt say? I'm very proud of this shirt. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Oh, why does my back ache as well? What is going on with me right now? Right. Okay. I'm setting up this 5-minute brainstorm. because now I know what I'm going to brainstorm. So let me open my file. I feel like the way that I've chosen to organize this is not ideal, and that's why I'm a little bit lost, but now is not the time to reorganize that. Right. Sprint starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that was 5 minutes. I guess let's check in with how many words I got. This is what happens when you do your makeup in the morning and then you shower and wash your hair later in the day. It's just falling down your face. Okay, how did I do? In that brainstorm, we managed 183 words. Fine. Where are we at total? 248 for today. 16,195 total. So I guess that's update that on the Nano website. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I think I want to I've got my kind of theme content. I've got my theme in my plot embryo and different notes and stuff on it in my journal, but I think I would like to have it out somewhere so I can see it all the time. So I might write a little card up with that and some more notes on the meaning kind of stuff. That's not going to count towards word count, I guess. I'm just going to make that as a note to do that. Yeah, with the theme which is this like central meaning, but also some like key metaphors and motifs. Okay. This headache is telling me I definitely need something. What is it? I probably need to hydrate. But I guess just my first thought whenever I have like a headache and just that like brain fog, I'm like, caffeine. I wonder. Yeah, so I am gonna have water. I'm gonna go get some. Yeah, so word count wise, not doing great. Still only have 300 words for today, but I feel like I just cracked something important with the kind of key relationship of this story and how that dynamic is going to play out, which is cool. Like how people see this character and how they interact. Yeah. Ah. Okay. I really need to figure out how familiars work in this world. Yes. Okay. Water. Let us all hydrate. All right, we're doing white stripes apparently. Am I just still hungry? Have I just not eaten enough given that I exercised today and stuff? Maybe. Actually, yeah. It's 6 o'clock. And I had breakfast, and then all I've had is half a protein bar and half of that. So I bet I'm still hungry, or just my body needs more fuel. So I think I'm just gonna have the other half of my sushi burrito then. I might also change out of these jeans into something more comfy. Back up there. So, I don't have anything planned for this break. I want to do a wee tidy break at some point, but I'm going to eat first. So, I don't think I've got anything off the top of my head to actually chat about right now. So, what do you want me to talk about while I eat? Is there any, do you have any questions or topics in particular while I have a munch? Because I think if my brain is just like this, I'm still just not gonna get much done at all. God, I love salmon so much. Did I still? No. Yes. Sabrina says general topics. Yeah, anything you like, really. I mean, yeah, writing or just anything, really. Yeah. Good question. Amarine asks, what are you reading at the moment, fiction or non-fiction? I'm not reading super regularly right now, but things that I am in the middle of, I've not read in like a week probably at this point. I recently got the entire Sherlock Holmes audiobook set. I've got most of them in book form anyway, because I was really into the original Holmes stories back when I was in university, and so I've got most of them collected. But it's been a long time, and I don't have the full collection, so I decided to get the audiobook set, which is massive, and it's Stephen Fry. So I started a little bit of that. And I'm also rereading High Fidelity by Nick Hornby. I'd be interested to know if any of you guys know it. It's a real weird one for me because it's actually one of my, it's a very old favorite for me. I read it as like a kid, basically. I must have been like 12 or 13. And it's such a strange book to read as a child because it's like about like a 35-year-old man breaking up with his girlfriend and like heartbreaking. Like, yeah. But I was unsupervised a lot as a child, and I also just would pick things up off of my parents' bookshelves and just start reading them, and no one ever said anything, or no one ever stopped me. So, High Fidelity and About a Boy were two of my favorite books from a very, very young age, and I remember like saying that to like an English teacher or something, and then being like, "That's really weird that you're like a 12-year-old that likes Nick Hornby, which is like a writer who really writes for like middle-aged men." But yeah, so it's very strange reading that again for the first time in so long, because obviously my perspective is completely different now, and there's a lot of it I still really like, and there's some lines that I still remember to this day that obviously just like stuck in my head. But there's a bunch of it, obviously, it's quite old now. It's like, what, 95, mid-90s or something? So there's some of it that's quite uncomfortable now. And the main character, Rob, is just a piece of shit. Like, I love him to bits, but he's just a piece of shit. And it's so weird reading that again and seeing some of the nuances and stuff, and then seeing similar behaviors and stuff in people that I have known as an adult. It's wild. But I also, one of the reasons that I started reading that again was because I've had a bit of a renaissance with High Fidelity, because I saw that there was the first season of a TV show, which is like kind of all, it was like gender flipped and diversified and stuff. So it was like Zoe Kravitz playing Rob. And it was really good. And I think it got cancelled after like one season, but that was really fun. And then it made me watch the old John Cusack movie again as well, which I forgot how much I love it. So I've been doing that. I've been going on a whole like nostalgia trip with High Fidelity. Yeah, Nick saying, I read High Fidelity about 10 times. It was an old favourite of mine too. Yeah, I read it so many times, and there's a lot of it that I don't remember, but there's a lot of it that's just like burned into my brain. Oh wow, okay, lots of questions. Someone is asking, can you use the plot embryo for more fragmented narratives, several narratives that seem distinct but that come together at the end? Probably. There's probably a way to do that, but I don't know that I can be much more specific without getting into more specifics. Does that make sense? Good chat, Rachel. Good chat. Yeah, I think you can. I personally haven't tried that, so it would be an experiment for me at this point. Wacky saying, "Foos your dues." All right, yeah, all right, not bad. Vanessa says, "I remember you mentioning you worked on an indie game at some point. How do or slash would you approach interactive storytelling as opposed to linear?" To be honest, that was one of my worries with that project, because I'd never done anything like that before, and the plot embryo obviously is super linear, and so I did a bunch of research, and I actually watched it. Oh, my coffee plant is so sad. Oh, I've got water. Okay. Floppy. This plant, by the way, this is a coffee plant. Its name is Cheffy, which is short for Yurgachev. And you're not meant to look like that. I'm so sorry, my friend. My bad. I'm not really that great with all of the other plants, to be honest, but with Cheffy, I always am like, no, I've had you for so long now. I'm not going to let you die. So like, yeah, so I was really worried about that, and I was like, I don't know how to write that. And then the developer guy who was kind of like running that project was like, it doesn't need to be like a branching narrative. We just want to have like branching conversations. So like the two options can be like almost functionally the same, but we want the illusion of choice, even if they're going to kind of end up in the same destination. So like the choices and like dialogue options and stuff can be fairly minimal, but we just want to have some kind of choice element there. And so that's how I tried to approach. I only got to the point of doing a plot embryo for that story and then writing like a scene and a half before it all fell apart. But that's what I tried to do, was like have the complete plot embryo and then figure out ways to like branch things and bring them back together in the individual scenes. But obviously that's not the only way to do it. I'm sure there's a lot of really interesting stuff about interactive storytelling, but I'm not super knowledgeable about it. I guess like one other thing about that is that like D&D is and role-playing games and stuff are a form of interactive storytelling, and so for that, I spoke about this in my vlog on it, but I spoke about how I focused on setting up the conflict for them, the antagonists and stuff, and then the players would figure out how they'd resolve that. And so like you've got the elements that you need in terms of like there's definitely a big central conflict or something for them to go up against, but how that plays out is going to be dependent on the players. Yeah. I need to actually eat this, otherwise we'll never get back to writing. Yeah, so Red is saying, did it ever happen to you that you made a plot embryo, got really excited, tried to write it, and discovered that maybe you don't have the skill for that kind of story yet, or it just died on paper right in front of you? Babe, every single story is like that. I don't think, I hear that sentiment a lot of like, I don't feel like I'm qualified to be, I'm not skilled enough to write that yet. You're never going to be skilled enough to write everything that you want to write. The point is to do your best, do the best that you can with it now, and do it anyway, and then move on and do the next thing better. So I understand that like taking on something super ambitious can be intimidating. State of Flux certainly felt like that to me. I've said this multiple times, but like takes place over the span of 30 years, like 16 point of view characters, weird time structure. But I think that, I mean, not everyone's brain works this way, but for me, I'm like, this idea is going to be, this is the most exciting this idea is ever going to be. It's only going to get less so over time. And so if I'm not going to write it now, then I'm not going to write it. Like, I think the idea of setting something aside and coming back to it when you're a better writer is waiting for a day that's never going to come. Not because you'll never be a better writer, but because you're never going to feel ready. And I think there's a difference between, if it's because you don't feel ready or you don't feel like you're doing it justice, there's always that element of losing things in translation. It's always going to be more exciting and perfect in your mind than it is when you actually try to write it. I've completely lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that. Yeah, if it's that feeling that's making you want to put it aside and work on something else, then I feel like fight that. If it's that you just are not, you decided that you're more passionate about something else and you don't want to work on it right now, then that's fine. But yeah, I think that's just the name of the game. Like it never is as good as you think it's going to be, but we have to keep going anyway. Yeah. Lauren is asking, Lauren's asking, I'm not sure if this has been asked before, but will you do the odd writing live stream even after Nano? I find them very motivating. I actually already do a writing live stream every month for my patrons. Because of Nano, I've been doing lots of them publicly anyway. But yeah, all you have to do, it's like $2 a month to sign up. If you go to patreon.com/RachelStephen, you can get it there. At the moment, we're doing on the 25th of every month. And if you pay a little bit more, you can like get to vote on what we'll do in that stream. But most of the time, people vote for writing sessions. So yeah, that will be continuing after Nano as well, and just forever, indefinitely. I am going to eat this. Oh, Kyla's saying, I'm late to the party, but what on earth are you eating? It's a sushi burrito. So it's salmon, rice, cucumber, bit of leaves. It's just a giant sushi roll. They are amazing. Not every sushi place does them, obviously. Just a couple of the more trendy ones. So I'm afraid I don't have any recommendations for wherever you live. I think there's only 2 places in Glasgow that do them. No, so yeah, Stephen's saying no dipping sauce. I know that it's very traditional to have sushi with like soy or wasabi or ginger. I just love raw salmon so much and the gentle kind of creamy smokiness of it that I like to just mainline it. I don't want anything to like get in the way of my tasting the salmon. So yeah, I tend to just go straight up. Yeah, Nick says, do you think there's sense in keeping it simple for a first novel? I do sometimes worry about that my idea might be a bit too ambitious. Yeah, that's a really good point. And that is like a balance to strike, is that I think if you can keep it simple, keep it as simple as possible. That's what I would go back and do if I could go back in time. But do as I say, not as I do, I guess. Yeah, there's a balance to be struck, I think, because I don't think, because, okay, here's the thing. An idea that is ambitious by itself is not a reason to not do it. It's like how you do it, if that makes sense. Like you can work with it, you can make it simpler, or you can make it more complex. Like it's not the idea that is intrinsic that you then have to either say yes or no to, you know? So I think don't put off writing an idea because you don't feel like you're ready for it or like you're skilled enough, because you could say that about every idea. You know, when you're getting started and you don't feel good and writing is hard, like no idea is going to feel like manageable or doable if you don't start something and finish it. I think I'm just rambling now. And yes, having this like shining like platonic ideal of the story that you want in your head, and then seeing how woefully inadequate what it is that you're actually writing is compared to that is frustrating. It's also just part of making anything, I feel like. But especially of writing. It's just par for the course. Even more so, I guess, when you're not as practiced at it. But remember that once it's been revised and everything, whoever it is that reads that is never going to have seen the perfect version in your head. They only get the imperfect version that you make. No one else ever gets to see that platonic ideal. And they're not comparing it to that, first of all. So you don't need to worry about like, because I think that's a worry that I have, even, where I'm like, it feels so cool, and the real version of it is just not the same. It's just not up to scratch. And I worry that like somehow people are able to sense how lacking the real version is compared to what it was supposed to be, what I thought it was going to be. But the truth is, no one sees that except me. And if you want anyone else to experience any version of it, then you have to let it be not as good as the perfect version in your mind. Oh boy. Yeah, and that's the sentiment. Monica saying, I forget who said it, but the worst unpublished novel of all time is better than the brilliant idea you have in your head because it exists. Yes, that's the sentiment exactly. You cannot share something that doesn't exist. And the thing that exists will always be imperfect and not as good as the idea. But the idea doesn't have existence. So thank you guys for bigging up the Story Magic Academy, which is my plotting course. I was like, what is it about again? Thank you. I missed a question earlier. Kyla said, I've been dying to ask you what your curly girl TM routine is. Oh boy, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. I do need to actually finish this so we can get back to writing. Kyla, I'm constantly frustrated with my hair. I'm constantly unhappy with it. I'm too lazy to try out different products and be all strategic. So please take all of this with a handful of salt, but all I'm using is a shampoo and a gel. And they're by, I think it's a brand called Inner Sense. And it was basically just, I like literally went to my hairdresser and was like, please give me something that works. I'm so sick of trying products, please. And they are expensive, basically, because it's fancy, curly shit. But they're these like white bottles. I think it's called Inner Sense. and it's like the shampoo is called a hair bath, which is just needlessly extra. Um, and it's just like a sulfate free but light kind of. It's not a no poo, it like lathers. Um, I wash with that, and then I use their gel, which is called I Create Hold or something. Um, and I like brush that in. Yeah, so I wash my hair. I brush in the gel, and then I used to diffuse it like with a hair dryer, but I think it's actually like fucking up my hair. You can see it's like super dry around here, and there's like a lot of broken bits and stuff. And I think that's because I haven't been using any kind of heat protection. Um, and so what I've been doing recently is just like brushing it out into my parting and like scrunching it with like my hands, and then like doing it like layer by layer to carefully kind of set it, and then just letting it air dry because I'm at home all the time anyway. So that's what this was. At the start of the stream, my hair was wet. It's actually turned out, I mean, it looks okay on stream right now. I'm kind of happy with that, but there's a lot of the time where I'm just like incredibly frustrated with it. Yeah, Kyla says I will put off shower days so I don't have to deal with it. Same, same. This is basically why I got myself this sushi, is a reward for finally washing my hair. Yeah, sometimes I do like I'll like diffuse it at the start, just a little bit, and then I'll let it air dry, and then once it's almost dry, then I diffuse it a little bit at the end to try and just give it a bit more lift. But I just can't be asked. But most days I just do nothing with it. I just put it up in a scrunchie, like on the top of my head to sleep, and that's it. I don't know how I feel about it anymore, to be honest. I definitely would get a diffuser if you don't have one, because otherwise, well, I mean, I don't know where you live, but like I live in Scotland, and girl, hair does not dry quickly here. It's not warm enough for that. And Kyla says, well, for what it's worth, your hair always looks super cute. Thank you. I disagree much of the time. I think it looks nice on wash day, and then the rest of the time it's just like, this is what we're dealing with today, whatever. But I think one of the good things about going curly is that I'm just a lot less finicky about it. When I used to wear it straight, like because it was so straight, you would notice every little like kink and little bit out of place. And so I would constantly be like touching up like curly bits here and around my fringe and stuff. Whereas now, my entire standard for like what's okay hair wise is just like whatever. So it's nice to just care a little bit less, but I don't know. It'll also be kind of frustrating. But yeah, I think the main thing that I need to sort out hair wise is getting some kind of heat protection for when I diffuse it, because I think it is genuinely fucking up. Like the whole point of going curly and stopping using straighteners in the first place was meant to be like have like less damaged hair, and I'm like, I feel like it's just as damaged as it ever was, except it's sometimes curly now, mostly just wavy and kinky. So yeah. I'm just covered in bits of sushi. Okay. What the fuck am I going to write next? Oh, okay. This isn't my last piece of hair trap as well. This is what I don't know if this even works, but you'll notice that I actually flipped my hair over like earlier in the stream. So I had it drying on this side because in my head I'm like, well, if it's drying on this side, then the roots, when I flip it over that way, the roots will be like stiffer. So I'll have better volume at the roots without having to like do clips and all of that. Because I've tried a lot of that stuff as well, and it just like ends up fucking up the curl pattern. So yeah, flip it over to dry, and then when it's dry, flip it back over. I don't know if it actually works, but there's my tip for you. Stephen says, do you focus on the hair of your characters? You know what's really funny is north of the end, the main character had big curly natural hair. But that was, I started writing her like that before I went curly with my hair, before I learned about it and stuff. And so I remember seeing pictures and using that for inspiration and being like, how the fuck do you get your hair like that? I don't understand. Because I've always known that I had naturally curly hair, but it never like behaved because I never knew how to actually take care of it, because no one fucking teaches you how to look after curly hair because most hairdressers don't know what the fuck they're doing with it. And so once I learned that, I was like, oh shit. And then I was like, should I change it so it's not so similar to my hair? And then I ended up like putting that book away anyway. But to be honest, like how a character looks physically and the way that they dress and like that kind of textural stuff is really important to me, because I feel like I can't get a handle on who a person is if I can't visualize them. And so I like to start with a lot of that stuff and then build in the kind of deeper things. Yeah. But like, so my friend Kirsty, for instance, isn't like that at all with characters, and I find it mind-boggling. She's like, I only describe character like appearance stuff if it's relevant to the plot. And I'm like, I can't even like, I don't know. I really appreciate having a clear image of a character as early as possible because it helps me visualize everything else that's happening. I don't know. It's similar in D&D as well. I think like me and my friend Jen are quite similar in that like when we start a new game, I want us to do the round table of like, describe your character, what do they look like, and blah, blah, blah. Because I want to be able to visualize things. Whereas like I know a lot of other people don't really care about that. They just want to jump into playing. And they're like, I'll get to know the characters as we go. But I'm like, I need the images. Okay, this is nearly done. This is an absolute mess now. Look at this bit. What the fuck? What am I doing? That was the question. Okay. I think I know what brainstorm I'm going to do next. I need a hot drink. I think. Jessica's saying, I love mood boards for characters, but I've ended up avoiding them because I always end up in internet rabbit holes. But visualizing them is so important for me. I can't get the scenes right until I do. It's tricky because Pinterest is often the first place that I go to for that kind of stuff, but Pinterest is notoriously addictive. Like it's designed, I mean, the way all social media is designed, it's designed to get you to keep scrolling. And so I feel like it's the norm to get sucked into it on a rabbit hole. You can actually see that in one of my vlogs where I was creating my protagonist, where I wanted to just find a couple of inspiration images, but I got completely sucked in. And then before you know it, you're frustrated and you're looking at shit that you don't even care about and you can't find what you're looking for. And it's just horrible. But I also love a mood board, and I also love, like, I'm such a visual person. I really like that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword with that kind of stuff, to be honest. Like, I think I probably can only do it with like parameters where, I'm setting a timer or something like that. But even then, it's difficult to tear yourself away. So it's definitely to be used with caution, I think. It's definitely a love-hate thing, is what Jessica's saying. Yeah, because I've also been, so like I used to do like a triptych, which is just a mood board that only contains like 3 images, because I thought that was a really good way to like force decision making and force like not get into like looking for infinite more images and stuff, like to hopefully like put some boundaries around a mood board or inspiration gathering process. Why was I saying that? But yeah, my friend Jen makes these amazing like 9-image square mood boards. She did them for all of our characters, or all of the characters in the Monster of the Week game, and I shared them in that video. And she's also been working on some for our Starfinder D&D characters, and they really make me want to do that as well. But again, I am just worried about getting too sucked into it. Yeah. Okay. I said that I knew what I was going to do next, didn't I? Okay. Let's write up this magic question. No. No. Giving myself pins and needles here, sitting on my foot. Okay, I've got my magic question. I know I'm going to brainstorm. So we're going to do another sprint when I get back, and I'm going to go to the bathroom. Maybe get a cup of something as well. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be back in a few minutes. If you want to grab yourself a fresh drink, take a bathroom break, or where's my little guys gone? Where would I have put those? Oh shit. Did I put you in there? I thought I did. Nah, just right new ones. I guess. All right. Cool. Okay. Yeah, get yourself ready, and we're going to do another sprint when I get back. Probably a bit of a longer one, I think.